Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. May Elise Cannon. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd. Today is day 383 since October 7th of last year and the attacks by Hamas on the south of Israel. An update from the last 24 to 48 hours. The Israeli military announced yesterday that they killed Hashem Safeddin, who was presumed to be the next leader of Hezbollah. They said that he was killed in an airstrike near Beirut earlier this month. The strike had targeted a meeting of senior Hezbollah leaders in one of the heaviest bombardments that hit the South Beirut area since the killing of Hezbollah's longtime leader, Hassan Nasrallah, on September 27th. Israel also said today that they killed 3 Hezbollah commanders over the past couple of days. All the while, Hezbollah also said that it fired on Israel's military bases in the outskirts of Tel Aviv for a second day straight. What that means is that Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Israeli Defense Forces are continuing to exchange fire on a daily basis. There were no reports of casualties in Israel. There were deaths in Lebanon. In a statement yesterday, Hezbollah claimed exclusive responsibility for the drone that struck a target in Caesarea on the Mediterranean coast near Netanyahu's home over the weekend. Netanyahu's office confirmed that there were no injuries. I've mentioned that there was no one home at the time. From Lebanon, Hezbollah fired over 140 rockets and drones at Israel yesterday, 30 additional today. And the IDF said that it had killed Hezbollah's sector commanders in South Lebanon, as well as 70 additional operatives within the organization. The health ministry in Lebanon said today that 28 people were killed in strikes since midnight. The FBI is investigating the leak of classified U.S. intelligence documents that were detailing Israel's preparations for a counterattack on Iran after that Telegram account had posted documents and claimed to have received them from a source within the United States intelligence community. 7 people were arrested in East Jerusalem on suspicion of planning attacks for Iran, according to Israel's Shin Bet security services. This was the second such case in recent days. The group yet to be indicted planned to assassinate a senior Israeli scientist and an Israeli mayor, according to authorities. And the Israeli army said that tens of thousands of Palestinians have been evacuating from the northern Gaza Strip. We've been following the situation closely. The situation in North Gaza is abysmal, with evacuation orders, limited access to food, humanitarian supplies. So hundreds of thousands have been evacuating from the Jabalia refugee camp. The Israeli army also said 150 Hamas members have been detained. The World Health Organization said that its polio vaccination campaign in North Gaza has been postponed because of bombardments by the Israelis, mass displacement, and lack of access. The campaign is currently in its final phase. It was set to begin today, aimed at vaccinating more than 119,000 children in the north. Medical sources in Gaza said that 35 Palestinians have been killed in the Strip since this morning, with 31 of those fatalities occurring in North Gaza. Israeli strikes across Gaza killed 16 people yesterday alone, as Israel's growing pressure on the northern areas of the territory have forced residents to flee. Secretary of State Blinken is currently in Israel. He met with Netanyahu and top officials yesterday, urging urgent and sustained steps to increase the flow of aid to Gaza and to capitalize on Sinwar's death. Blinken said Netanyahu made a commitment that Israel is not applying a surrender to starve policy to Palestinians who refuse to leave North Gaza. But the new proposal that Blinken is putting forth is regarding a new hostage deal. It would have a short-term temporary ceasefire as the initial stage. It would involve a limited deal that would lead to the release of a few hostages, less than 10 hostages in the first phase, in exchange for a temporary ceasefire. Families said that Blinken described this plan as a way to test whether or not Hamas is serious about reaching a broader agreement after the killing of the Hamas chief Yahya Sinwar. Senator Sanders, along with 11 Democrats, yesterday urged the Justice Department to open a formal investigation into an Israeli airstrike that killed a journalist and injured an American journalist more than a year ago. I had to look up this incident. I wasn't sure what it was referring to. The lawmakers wrote in a letter yesterday, evidence clearly indicates that this was an unlawful direct attack on civilians in which a U.S. citizen was injured and was lucky to survive. Several journalists were severely injured and one was killed. The U.S. citizen and journalist was working for the Agence France Presse, AFP. Dylan Collins was his name. He was severely wounded by an Israeli tank fire. He was wearing a press vest. He was reporting near the line of withdrawal between Lebanon and Israel. The letter says, unfortunately, this incident is a part of a wider pattern of disregard by the Israeli military for the safety of civilians, including journalists and humanitarian aid workers. Collins was with 5 others, including Christina Assi, who had to have her right leg amputated. There were others wounded, and this was the incident where the Reuters journalist was killed. I mentioned Issam Abdallah, who was killed in October a year ago. He was reporting in South Lebanon. So that letter just went forward yesterday. In the West Bank, the IDF is investigating the killing of an 11-year-old boy by Army fire. Yesterday, according to eyewitnesses, he was critically injured by gunfire in clashes with an Army unit. There was footage on social media. He was seen throwing stones at a military vehicle. According to reports in the AP News, it could take up to 350 years for Gaza's battered economy to return to its pre-war level, according to a report that was released Monday by the UN Conference on Trade and Development. And federal prosecutors charged an official in Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and 3 others connected to the Iranian government with plotting to assassinate a US-based dissident journalist, according to the Justice Department. 2 US soldiers were injured in Iraq in a joint US-Iraqi raid that killed multiple ISIS operatives, according to a Defense Department spokesperson yesterday. Outside of the immediate Near East, I wanted to be sure to let you know there were urgent reports this morning from an interior minister who confirmed an attack on the headquarters of the Turkish aerospace industries near Ankara. No group immediately claimed responsibility. There was footage of the attack broadcast on Turkish television that showed it had not been independently verified as of yet, showing gun-wielding assailants opening fire and smoke from an explosion. Also, just a reminder, tomorrow is Thursday. I'll do my live weekly briefing that is a summary of the news from the last week. One of the things that I'll share is I have an update from Ali Hospital, the Anglican hospital in North Gaza. We have an update from our partners, Embrace the Middle East, and the Ali Hospital director, Suhaila Tarzi, who's the hospital director. So pray and demand for an end to all violence for all of those in North Gaza, the entire Strip, Lebanon, anyone, anywhere who is experiencing suffering under bombardment and violence. Pray that it be brought to an end. In the name of Christ, amen.